One of the best ways to explore real English language and the culture behind it, in my opinion, is Reddit. So today we're going to be exploring a Reddit post from Am I the Asshole? Very popular subreddit. We're going to be going through the whole thing, picking out some language, and I've got Grok here as well to help me through it.
Looking forward to breaking down the slang with you. Let's dive in.
All right, let's do it. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Now let's get into the post. All right, so here it is. Again, the post is from Am I the Asshole? Very popular one. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that my money isn't our money? Very interesting. I've been dating my girlfriend for over 2 years. Now it's written as GF. Usually if someone writes GF, they won't say GF, they'll say girlfriend. You'll also see BF and SO. SO is significant other. If someone writes BF, they might say BF. I don't really hear people say GF, but if it's BF, they might say BF or boyfriend.
People say my boyfriend or my BF way more naturally than my GF.
All right, let's keep going. I earn $95K working in corporate finance, and she's a final year law student working part-time, earning around $40K, I think. Again, a writing thing. People will often write in posts like this, 95K. You can say 95K, or if you want, you could say 95,000. Same thing. But people in a post will often write 95K more often than they would write out, 95,000. I'm not a baller, obviously, but I live with my parents and have minimal expenses. A baller. Not a person who plays a sport with a ball. In this case, it's a lifestyle. Basically, someone who spends a lot of money on luxurious things.
Yeah, baller here means someone who flexes with money. Flashy lifestyle, not sports. He's saying he's not living that big.
Yeah, that's another way to say it. Living big, living large. Sometimes you hear people say living big, living large. The baller lifestyle. She, on the other hand, is really bad with money. She doesn't piss it away on drugs or gambling and stuff, but she'll buy expensive gifts for her friends or me. She'll treat people a lot to food, drinks, Ubers, and stuff. Piss it away is just a way to say waste money. Now, you might use waste, you waste your money, and that's okay, but you wouldn't use piss away every time you would use waste. For example, if you throw stuff in the garbage, you don't say, I'm pissing away things in the garbage. That doesn't work.
Piss away is specifically for squandering resources, usually money. It's more colorful and casual than just waste.
That's all nice things to do, obviously, within reason. Within reason is another useful phrase. That just means, you don't want to go too crazy. You have to think about yourself and your own finances too. She's a very giving and selfless person and has this, it's just money, I'll make more, it's all about the memories attitude. But you need money.
Having that attitude with friends is one thing, but when your own bills are looming, it can get risky fast.
You have to be smart and responsible with it, which I've told her, but she seems to think I'm just being cheap and not living in the moment. She says dumb things like, what good is your stock portfolio or savings if you die tomorrow? I'm noticing a note of, not just criticism for his girlfriend here, but really not talking about her in a nice way, right? Almost like a disdain. The language is a bit disrespectful. The tone is a bit disrespectful. Not just I disagree, but you're doing dumb things. Just has a kind of a disrespectful tone.
Calling her ideas dumb things does come off pretty dismissive. It's not just disagreeing with her spending, it's shading her whole mindset. Kind of sets a tone.
Yeah, it does set a tone. So I wonder if, that doesn't amount necessarily to being the asshole, but it doesn't help. So cheap in this case. Now cheap is different than frugal. We talked about frugal. If you're frugal, that means you're just careful with money generally. It doesn't have that negative connotation. But often cheap does have a negative connotation. The idea of someone being cheap, miserly, right, is that they're unwilling to spend money, even when spending money is a good idea, right? They go out for a dinner and they say, okay, guys, now nobody order a drink. Nobody order a drink. That's expensive. We can't do that. Right? That might be, oh, you're being cheap. And that would not be a good thing. Or people would look at that in a negative way.
Yeah, you nailed the difference. Frugal is smart with money. Cheap is stingy. It carries that negative vibe because it often means being unwilling to spend even when it makes sense or is fair.
All right, so let's continue. She was complaining yesterday about how she barely has any savings, and I was like, no shit. Of course you don't have any savings. How would you? Okay, no shit is a really interesting expression because it says so much with only 2 words. Now, of course, it's going to be an informal, very casual spoken word. It's in a post here, but it's often in spoken English. No shit is like, well, that's obvious. Of course, it's kind of like a less formal, more direct way to say, well, yeah, of course.
It's not just, of course, it's duh. What did you expect? The tone's pretty rude here, like he's talking down to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's writing this in a moment of frustration. He's really frustrated here. You're literally spending every dollar you get. Now, a lot of Americans use the word literally to mean something like very, but in this case, I think he does mean literally, which means, yes, actually, she has no savings, she has no money because she spends all of her money. Literally, actually, in fact.
Yeah, you're right. Here he really does mean literally. She's blowing every dollar that comes in. The word's gotten watered down a lot, but this time, it's dead accurate.
Yeah, you said a good word there. Instead of just spending every dollar, to blow every dollar. To blow it in this case, blow it could mean to make a big mistake, but the way you used it was to waste money, to be very wasteful.
Yeah, exactly. Blow money specifically means spending it carelessly or wastefully. It's a good fit here.
Then she said, well, it's not the end of the world if I run out because you've got some, right? I don't want to use your money, but if I don't have any, you've got enough for the both of us, don't you? Okay, yikes. This is where maybe things start to take a turn toward maybe he's not. Well, it's certainly, I can understand why he's frustrated here because this is not a marriage. They're dating, and that is often a very, very different thing in terms of finances.
Yeah, this is a big red flag. She's treating his savings like a shared safety net without any commitment on her end. That's not fair when you're just dating.
And you said an interesting word. You said red flag, but let's get to red flag later. I think that is a good word to mention. I said, whoa, okay. I don't have money for us. I have money for me. Granted, I'll spend my money on you. Like, I'll pick up every 2 or 3 dinners for every one that you get. I'll buy us more snacks and pay for more dates, etc. So pick up in this case means I'll pay the bill. I'll pick it up. That's one expression to mean I'm going to pay for the meal.
Yeah, pick up the tab, or just pick up is common slang for paying the bill. He's saying he covers more than his share already, which makes her assuming access to his savings even more unfair.
Yeah, I think that's what his source of frustration is coming from. But let's reserve judgment. Let's just focus on the language here, and then we'll get to the judgment at the end. So I'll buy us more snacks and pay for more dates, etc. Because I earn more, I'll pay more proportionally, but this isn't our money. It's my money, and you can't expect to basically use my money because you can't handle your own money. To say handle your own money here is sort of like manage your finances. It's a slightly less formal way to say manage your finances.
Sounds a bit condescending, though.
Yeah, you could read it that way. It's interesting. His tone is a bit condescending. The tone of how he's writing isn't very respectful of this person he's writing about, his girlfriend. But on the other hand, I also understand where he's coming from. I don't think his perspective or his feelings are necessarily crazy. I'm just not sure he's handling it the best way, going on Reddit and writing a frustrated post about it. I told her that financial incompatibility is the biggest reason for divorce, and currently we are financially incompatible, and this needs to be fixed if we want to have a good relationship.
Yeah, he's not wrong about financial incompatibility tanking relationships. It's huge. But dropping the divorce stat on a girlfriend who's not even engaged yet feels like he's lecturing her more than talking with her.
Yeah, he's lecturing her and he's then putting her on blast on Reddit, which may be even worse.
Yeah, taking it to Reddit is rough. Even if he's right about the money stuff, airing out her financial struggles publicly feels pretty low.
Yeah, the tone and putting it on Reddit, a thing that you should definitely work out with you're a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? It seems like a private conversation. But anyway, okay, let's keep going. I'm very good with my money, but I'm not cheap. I spend it and have fun, but do it in a smart way that doesn't leave me broke. Broke, I think most people know, is just a word that means you don't have any money. You need to be smart with your money and stop seeing my money as yours. Okay, again, I kind of get his point already. Now I feel like he's just venting his frustration. He's talking in the post like he's talking to her, which makes me wonder, did he actually have the conversation with her? And there is, I feel also this, he's not even considering if he may play some small part in this dynamic. It's a sort of you're bad, your fault, your issue situation. I'm perfect. I'm good with my money, That's just the tone that I'm getting.
Yeah, it's all I'm right. You're wrong with zero self-reflection. And writing it like he's still arguing with her makes me think this post basically is the conversation.
All right, so the last part here. She got really mad and started calling me a selfish asshole and all this nonsense. But I'm just speaking facts here. If she views my money as also hers, that is basically going to enable her to continue pissing her money away, again using that phrase, and rely on me as her personal ATM. And then there's an edit here at the end. She is also living at home with her parents, pays no rent or bills or living expenses. I'm 26 years old, 2 years out of university. She's 24. Okay. So some interesting language there, some interesting phrases. Maybe we can just recap some of the key phrases we picked out and then talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Here's the key stuff we caught. Frugal versus cheap. Frugal's smart, cheap's stingy. Piss it away or blow money. Wasting cash carelessly. No shit. Sarcastic, duh, obviously. Pick up. Paying for the meal. Red flag, warning sign. Literally, he actually meant it here. Handle your money. Manage your finances. One more. Within reason. That's the one you called out when talking about her generous spending. Basically means as long as it doesn't go too far.
Yeah, and we also talked about some of the differences between what we read and what we say. Like 95K, someone might say 95K or 95,000, but writing 95K is going to be more common. And then we also talked about GF, BF, and SO. Someone might say my BF, but they probably wouldn't say my GF, or at least not nearly as often. They'll say girlfriend. But the person who writes BF may say boyfriend. And I don't think anybody says SO. People will say my significant other or their significant other.
We also hit on baller, meaning someone flashy with money, not sports, and how literally gets tossed around a lot in American English, even when it's not technically literal.
Yeah, you're right. Good catch there. I forgot to mention that one. Well, okay, before we look at what the verdict is in the comments below, let's think about it. Here's a guy who's putting his girlfriend on blast for an issue that probably should be a private conversation to work out as a couple, because money issues are very serious. Doing it in a way that's very condescending and not really considerate of, hey, this person does actually like to be generous. She likes to buy nice things for her friends. She's not that responsible with money, sure, but that might be something to work through rather than just blaming and criticizing. So the tone makes me say, he's the asshole. And yet, assuming that your boyfriend's money is your money, unless there is a very clear deal worked out, isn't great, right? I certainly get where his frustration is coming from. So my verdict is both the asshole.
Her treating his savings like a backup plan is unfair, but he's being condescending and humiliating her by posting this. The private money talk should stay private.
Yep, okay, let's see what some people are saying. A lot of upvotes on this one. See what people are saying in the comments. Okay, so the top one says, not the asshole. You're exactly right that right now you two aren't financially compatible. I do think that's true. They probably aren't financially compatible, but they can work through that. Gotta love how the person who spends all their money and demands more money from others is calling OP the selfish one. This is original poster. This is what I would call a red flag. And you mentioned red flag before. That's basically just like okay, warning, watch out for this person sort of thing. Then we have an update from the original poster here. I've never met someone who wants to actively sabotage their financial future this much. I've made her an Excel budgeting template to keep track of her income and expenses. I'm a finance guy, which she doesn't bother to use. This, again, screams someone who refuses, and this is coming from someone who's been married for 12 years, right? So I do have some opinion, I think, that's somewhat valid. This screams someone who is completely unwilling to look at the other person's perspective.
Yeah, that update makes him sound even more controlling. Making her an Excel budget she didn't ask for and then complaining she won't use it, that's not teamwork. That's trying to manage her like an employee.
Yeah, I agree. But all the comments so far I've seen tend to be not the asshole, not the asshole. And that's just it's validating the OP even more. The problem with her attitude isn't that you're unwilling to share, it's that the moment you do, she will suddenly expand her current habits to the new expanded budget, no matter what it is. Again, I do see that perspective. I honestly think that problem is not as big as the problem of thinking, I'm right, you're wrong, you're bad, you're an idiot. That vibe I don't like in a relationship. Yeah, okay. Very interesting. Very good post, I think, and some interesting language we pulled out of there as well. What do you think, Brock?
Solid post for language study, and yeah, classic relationship money clash. Both sides got valid points, but the delivery's rough on his end. Fun breakdown, though.
All right, that's it. If there are other types of things like this you want me to check out and explore, let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And also check out the 90-day program in the links in the description. It's the best way to improve your English in 90 days. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.